On this episode of the Breaking Ice podcast, Jonathan Gillingham joins us to talk about his photography. He is mainly inspired by wildlife and landscape photography and is currently based out of Yellowknife. Having lived in Norman Wells for the past 5 years, Jonathan has spent a lot of time in the Mackenzie Mountains. His work portrays the grandeur of northern landscapes and focuses in on the details of the incredible beings that live in that landscape. Join us and learn about how he got his start in photography, what inspires him today, and how important mentorship has been along his journey. Enjoy the episode. All right. Well, welcome back to the Breaking Ice podcast. My name's Josh Ferguson, and today I have the chance to sit down with Jonathan Gillingham. You can just move it this way.
There we go.
Oh,
there you go. This is good. This is quality.
This is quality content.
Yeah.
Here. It's gotten a lot of use today. These go up here. This. There.
Are we gonna do a blooper?
yeah, right. Sick. Well, yeah. Well, we've known each other for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself. Tell me what you're up to.
So my name is Jonathan Gillingham. I'm originally from Deer Lake, Newfoundland. I moved here in 2018 in Norman Wells, and I got a cool job at the GNWT as environmental inspector, and just really fell in love with the community and fell in love with the Sahtu region. And I spent almost 6 years here, and then recently took a new position in Yellowknife as a biologist. So ended up having to relocate. So if anyone is looking for a house in Norman Wells, I got you. I'll sell you my house.
It's been weird not to see you driving around anymore. You know.
Yeah. Definitely. I really miss this community. I really miss the people. It's nice in Yellowknife that I get to see people all the time. You know.
Yeah,
people
there's still a contact point.
Yeah, and. Well, Jesus, the other day I went to pick somebody up from the airport, and there was someone else, and I ended up giving them a ride to their hotel.
Oh, yeah, that's the north, right? That's perfect.
I was like, hey, do you need a ride? Don't pay for a cab. I'll bring you. But we both Bailey and I really do miss Norman Wells and the people and our life that we built here for ourselves. Like, this is kind of where our life started together.
Did you move away sooner than you expected?
Yeah, so essentially, like... we ended up buying a house there.
In Yellowknife?
No, here.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't bought a house in Yellowknife. But we bought our house here, I think it was like 2021, like fall. And the plan was 5 to 10 more years. That's why we bought a house. And then this job came up 2 years later, and I just couldn't turn it down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, fair enough. So what's your new job?
So I'm a boreal caribou range planning biologist. And it's quite a cool job. I mean... I get to come back here in the Sahtu a lot, which is great. I'm responsible for like the Sahtu region or whatever, and the Gwich'in region now as well. So I get to work with all the great people there.
I just like to monitor these.
Oh, just in case. Yeah, flip them over for Justin.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was recording with Robbie Craig, and that one cut out and 30 minutes in, so I only have one angle for the rest of it, but it's fine.
Do they have a 30-minute time limit
at a certain quality? Yeah, they do, but I put it out at 1080 anyway, so I don't need to record super high.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. And so what's your day-to-day like in your job?
I go into my office and chat with like co-management partners and stuff, and try to arrange meetings and cool stuff like that.
And then there's field work as well?
Unfortunately, no. Every now and then I get to tag along when someone else needs help or whatever, but it's more desk. Yeah.
But your photography career takes care of that, eh?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. That's more interesting. But so ever since I moved to Yellowknife, it seems to starting to be taken off. Getting to meet a lot of people. I've been attending like the spring trade show markets, and people are starting to know who I am. Doing some workshops. I attend a conference. This is my second year. I went there. It's in Alberta in Pincher Creek, and it's called Light Chasers Nature Conference, and it's so cool. Like, everyone is so amazing. A guy, Shane Turgeron, runs it. And it's just a big community of photographers that do it because they love it. and Paul Ziska spoke this year at it. Jackie Matchuk as well, or Matachuk, sorry, and then a bunch of famous Canadian photographers get to be in part and and talk about photography and stuff there. And through that, I got chatting with the Case ambassador for Case Filters in Canada, or one of them, and his name is Jim Brompton. Crazy photographer, been doing it for such a long time, and he specializes in waves, so he does all kinds of cool fine art,
that's sweet.
nature photography, and I became a part of the Case Pro Partner team for
that's so cool
for Canada. Yeah, it's surreal, but it's amazing. And things are starting to take off, and I mean, we'll see where it goes.
Well, absolutely, we might as well keep at it, right?
Yeah.
Is the long-term goal to do photography full-time?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do photography full-time, but I got to pay the bills.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
And I do have a special connection with the people here and stuff too, so I don't really want to give up on my job either.
Yeah,
so
yeah, absolutely.
It's pulled in both directions.
Yeah. It's tricky to kind of find that balance.
Yeah.
And so how'd you get started? When did you first pick up a camera?
So back when I graduated university, I was working as a forest firefighter in Newfoundland, and when I graduated, I came back and I went into Best Buy one day, and I was like, geez, I'd really like to get a camera. I'm out in the woods all the time. I like to take pictures of animals. I like animals. So I went to Best Buy, and they had a deal on for Canon Rebel T6i, and it came with a 75 to 300 millimeter and a 18 to 55.
You got lens. Hooked on the zoom lenses right
away. Right off the hop, yeah. Come on with it. And so anyway, I picked that up and a little case and an extra battery and whatever. I just started taking pictures, and then I got Photoshop and started editing the pictures, and for the longest time I was shooting in JPEG. And this was I know, what a loser.
You know what? I really like to not be able to do a whole lot in post with my photos.
I'm just so good at it that I don't need to edit my photos.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I got that and went to Salmoneer Nature Park, which is a nature park in Newfoundland. Mm-hmm. Great little place, and there was actually a mama moose that had a baby there, and so the baby was there, and I got to take I was shooting an auto too, noob. But
well, it's intimidating to go past that.
Oh yeah, I mean, besides my phone or something else, it's the first time I had a real camera.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was taking a picture, and I had this wicked picture where it really gave the depth of field, and a very nice shallow depth of field, and a lot of nice bokeh, even with this garbage.
Yeah, you probably zoomed all the way in 300.
Oh, 100% I was. And there was a beautiful picture, and then one day, it's when I took this job to come here to Norman Wells, I packed up everything I owned in my little car, and I drove and traded in my car or whatever. But when I was driving across the country, all friends and stuff, I printed a couple of my pictures and was giving them to my friends, staying at their house. Oh, here's have a picture, thank you so much.
That's cool.
And I can't remember who it was, but someone was like, oh, you should start selling your photos. And yeah, I will. So then I came here and started doing more and more of it, and people are like, oh, it's so great. And if you look at my Facebook and stuff, I should probably delete them, but my watermark is half the picture. What are you doing, buddy?
Well, you gotta start somewhere, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I really started getting into it, and then I opened it up as a business and started taking photos every time I was out and around in the woods and stuff. And I mean, Norman Wells is one of the most beautiful places in the world. And last night I went for a drive with my buddy Nathan here, and we seen a wolf,
yeah,
right, and 10 cranes, sandhill cranes, and there's so much wildlife around, and it's so easy here. Right, as you know yourself, it's especially when you get out of the town into the mountains, you don't even have to be good. All pictures look amazing. Right?
No, that's not. Well, I just feel landscape photography and wildlife, it's tricky, man. It's complicated. It's not easy. I don't know. I feel I can snap the odd picture like yours, but not I can't replicate it really. And part of that's the equipment. I don't have the zoom lenses, but another part of that is like, I don't know, the patience and the style and knowing where to go and kind of the goals, right? So
yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I'm mostly an opportunistic photographer. Like, I don't really set out in blinds and stuff. Like, I just go where I go, and if I see something, I take pictures of it. That has its perks, but it also has its downfalls.
Sure.
So, like, I could spend, I don't know, actually, I'll give you a good example. When we moved out of Norman Wells to Yellowknife, it took us 2 days. We drove down to Ice Road or the Winter Road, sorry, and I had my camera ready, my 1-500, like,
locked
she's
and
all
loaded.
set in, all the settings, you know what I mean? And had her ready to go, and we didn't see anything the whole 2 days. And,
yeah, that's too bad.
And we didn't even see bison. I was like, what the hell? Like, from, like, Betchico all the way to Yellowknife, like, never seen one bison. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then, again, we drove out and went to Edmonton for Easter holidays, and all we seen was fox on the way. Actually, I got a really cool picture of the fox. He's like jumping.
I saw that one.
Yeah, he was like jumping and like fell in the snow, and it's just like his legs and his tail sticking up. And he actually did catch a vole, and I was snapping
sweet.
pictures, and he was like playing with it, throwing it in the air and shit. And there's like this one cool picture I got too. I never posted this one, but the fox is kind of like this, but the little vole is like looking at him like. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool experience.
So do you want to go sit out in blinds? Is that something you want to aim to do?
I just gotta find a time, man.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Once
yeah.
you start running it as a business, like it really cuts into your field time.
Well, yeah, especially when you have another full-time job on top of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I could wish for one thing, it would probably be not needing sleep, and then I would be able to do it all. Because up here, land of the midnight sun.
Totally.
Right? You can go out all the time, but yeah. So I like to do it like all opportunistic. The landscape stuff I'm starting to really enjoy more because it's way easier.
Well, it's always there.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'm starting to really get into this waterfall thing, especially now that I'm a Case Pro partner. I use filters a lot now, and whenever I can, obviously. And I just
You mean like NDs and stuff?
yeah,
like that?
NDs, yeah. So like circular polarizer.
Are you taking like very long exposures now? Is that
Nothing really over 30 seconds.
okay?
But I have this cool idea that I really want to like maybe do like an NWT waterfall calendar, and start selling a few of those.
Yeah, well, Yellowknife's the place for that for sure. You got enough tourism coming through.
Yeah, so like Cameron Falls, I have a beautiful picture of Carcajou Falls already. I got a list, and I was going to do a road trip there a couple weeks ago, but we didn't end up going. But I was going to do like that water. I think they call it like the Waterfall Highway. Or
But
something.
I feel like you want to do it at different times of year each photo. You know what I mean? Like
I agree.
yeah.
I'm just like.
Because you go get them all done in like 3 days, and it's been the same weather every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's true. Like, and then even in the fall too. I just want to get out there. I just want to get out
Totally,
there. That's
totally.
what it is, and take those photos. And whenever I get the chance to drive out now, which is amazing to have a road, Mackenzie Valley Highway.
Let's go. Shout out.
Yeah. But once we have a road now, like Bailey's parents are coming up next week when I get home, and which is great. So now they can visit us, and they don't have to spend $6 or $7 grand to fly here to visit us.
It's so much easier,
and we can drive to them as well, which is nice. And I think it's like 16-hour drive or whatever. But like the amount of wildlife, they live in Stony Plain.
Okay.
Yeah. So the amount of wildlife is wicked. Like, and the first time we went down, we left at like 3:00 in the day, so we like overnighted in High Level and then drove to Stony Plain the next day. But on the way back, we left at like 5:00 in the morning and drove all the way to Yellowknife.
Nice.
Didn't get here till like 8:00. But it's a long drive, but it's a fun drive, and I enjoy it, and I get to see wildlife. But no bison, apparently. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I don't think you'll ever see a bison again.
Yeah, right.
With your
Jeez. But yeah, it's nice to be in Yellowknife, but we definitely really miss Norman Wells.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, but you're gonna create something just as special there over time.
Yeah, there's so much going on in Yellowknife, and it is much like Norman Wells to a sense, like the people and transient and stuff.
Yeah.
But the people that's here are not there.
No, it's different. It's different. It's a really different, like, baseline vibe, but it's not like moving to a much bigger city. If you move outside of the territory, it would be really different. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have anything. You wouldn't have, like, acquaintances in the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you would make them, but not quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a cool little niche, and we enjoy it. And there's a lot more opportunity for the photography there than it was here, unfortunately.
It's okay.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's a small town here. And
yeah.
That's a town that, like.
You also have a pretty unique niche that requires a bit of a bigger market.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong though. Like, shout out to Norman Wells people. Like, you guys are the best. Like, at any market, I've always done the best here. No, honest to God, like, people would
true.
Like buy my photos, and no one complained about a price or anything. Like, they were like, "Oh yeah, no problem," and then, like, they would buy them and send them home to their family. Like, "Oh, mom, dad, like, aunts, uncles, this is where I live." Like, and thank you guys for that. Really appreciate it. But like in Yellowknife, I've never done as well. Ever. And I've also
fingers crossed that'll change.
Yeah, I mean, once people know, and people know me here too, that's another thing.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier, I guess, to spend the big bucks on pictures.
Well, you know where it's going, you know who it's supporting, you're emotionally invested, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You'll get there. I feel like Yellowknife's definitely a place where it's very viable to get there. You just need to spend more time there. For
sure. And then once you get your name out there, and people eventually, they'll come looking for you. Right?
Totally.
Like, oh, Jonathan just posted he's at this farmer's market.
Do you find there's a fair amount of, like, competition there? Like, are there a lot of wildlife photographers in Yellowknife that are kind of aiming at the same caliber that you are?
Great question. I don't ever see it as a competition.
Sure.
That's just the type of person I am.
Well, no,
at first I used to.
Yeah.
But it's not a competition, and I encourage anybody who does it to do it.
Absolutely. Well, it's better for us to collaborate and lift each other up than to...
Exactly.
But I guess my question is more like, is the market saturated? I
don't feel like it's saturated, but there's definitely a few photographers around, and they're great. Yeah. They are great. And it's to each their own. Art is subjective, like... One day I might show up to a market and sell out, and the next day the person next to me might sell out, right? And I just think it's great that people are buying art and supporting people. Totally. And that's what I like to encourage. It's whatever you're into, right? Like, sometimes I'll go to a market and I'll, like, have photos there, and I'm like, oh, this one's gonna sell. Like, it's so beautiful. Yeah, and then it just sits there, and I'm like...
That's my favorite one.
Yeah. What the hell, guys? Like, but
and then the dump bear sells out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone loves the dump bear.
Yeah, I love the dump bear.
That's not a dump bear.
No.
That's
no. Yeah. He's just on rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just at a shale pit. But I mean, people like what they like, and some people love wildlife. Some people don't care for animal pictures. Some people want the waterfall pictures or whatever. Some people don't even like nature pictures.
So what is it about nature pictures that, like, wildlife and landscapes that draws you? Because there's so many different types of photography, and you seem definitely drawn to that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do enjoy doing other parts of photography, but I've always been an outdoor person. I grew up living on the land. Like, my dad used to take me out fishing and hunting, like, from a small boy, and that really set something in me to be, like, an avid outdoorsman. Part of my heritage as well, like being Indigenous. Like, it's always been a part of me, and I really enjoy it. And through all those teachings from my dad and learning more about it and wanting to be a part of it and be out there and all that stuff, I decided to pursue an education in sorry, no one did, she knows. I decided to pursue an education in the environmental sector. So went to the College of North Atlantic, and I did fisheries and wildlife technician. Awesome program. Realized that, like, those jobs are so hard to get. So I ended up doing the forestry program as well. So they had a transfer program. If you did one, you can do the other in a year rather than 2 years. So I did the forestry program, got out, started working as a forest firefighter, one of the coolest jobs ever, and but got laid off in the fall time, right?
Of course, yeah.
So like I spent like one winter like drawing unemployment, and like didn't really like that. I wanted to be doing something, so the next year I was chatting to one of my buddies, Ian, and he's like, oh yeah, me and his wife Rachel, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to University of New Brunswick, we're doing a forestry program, like they have transfer credits, like you can transfer from CNA, they'll accept it. And I was like, ooh. And this is like end of June, beginning of July in 2015 or whatever. And I was like, so I look it up, and like, oh, they got like an environment, natural resources, wildlife conservation major program. And then like July, I'm applying, get accepted. I send off my student loan thing. I ended up getting my student loan, like, and then like I think this is like mid-August or whatever, like it's all done. I show up the first week of September, and then the lady Yolanda, she's like the student coordinator or whatever, or she was. I don't know if she still works there, but she was like looked at me. She's like, wow, that was fast, eh? I was like, yeah, I don't frig around, like if I put my mind to something, I'd do it. And so I did 3 years there, and got my degree, and applied on every job under the book, and then got my job here or whatever. But,
so it's been like a lifetime of spending time outside, and kind of that being your what you draw your inspiration from.
Yeah, I don't really know if it, like, I don't know if I draw like a big amount of inspiration from it, but I know I love it.
Yeah.
And I feel most at peace when I'm out on the land.
Totally.
And I'm not worried about my cell phone. I'm not worried about the bills I have to pay. All I'm doing is surviving or living, right?
So you have the waterfall concept that you're working on and kind of want to execute on. Do you have any other projects in the future that you're looking forward to?
So I was chosen to be the artist of the month in November, and I have a cool little idea I don't really want to say yet.
Fair enough.
But because I don't know if it's going to work.
This November?
Yeah, this November at the Arts and Culture Center in Yellowknife.
So you're working on something for that?
Yeah, so maybe 1 or 2 special photos for that.
He's gonna get a bison.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and finally get a bison. Maybe a bison skull. I don't know. Let's try. Even like maybe a bison cow patty, or
something attainable.
Yeah, right. But so I'm gonna try to get 1 or 2 photos I have in my mind for that, and hopefully just special one-offs for that.
Okay.
And then also, I have some of my art in the gallery on 47th, so a few of my photo prints are there. I really like working with Ainsley. She's super awesome and really good, and she does these artists of the week type thing as well. And then if she doesn't have someone for that, she does like multiple artists. Mm-hmm. And so I've been in the multiple artist category, but hopefully if it all works out, maybe I might get do my own 1 week where people can go in and it'll just be my photos on the wall for them to purchase and enjoy, which is amazing. Excuse me. So I'm gonna do something for that. Hopefully we'll see how that works out, and that's pretty much all I have planned for now. Oh, and workshops. I'm gonna start doing workshops. Hopefully to get out on the land and take people out and teach them the fundamentals and how to take nature photos, and it's not all fun and games. So
yeah. What do you think have been your biggest areas of improvement over I don't know, I think the course of the time that you've been taking it more seriously?
So when I first started, it was about just getting a picture of the animal, or just getting a picture of the land. There was no artistry behind it. There was no worried about composition or what's on your edges of your frame, and
totally.
It was all like, oh, they got a picture of a fox, baby fox.
Did I get the whole fox in there?
Yeah, right. Oh shoot, his tail's cut off or his legs cut off.
Whatever, it's a fox.
Yeah, then you're like super happy, right? But now, like, it's not about just the picture of the animal or the landscape. It's about what is unique about it. Try to tell a story. Try to follow some of the rules or break the rules of photography. Mm-hmm. For artist expression or whatever, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do now. Is I'm really focusing on the art of it and not just getting the picture. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get me wrong, like some of my just getting the picture photos did work out for me, but a lot of them don't.
Yeah, so like you're kind of aiming at making sure, moving towards a higher yield.
Yeah.
So like, you take 10 pictures and you want hopefully 5 of them to be good or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, in wildlife photography, I don't think it ever works that way.
As an example, though, you know what I mean?
Big commitment to those guys that started out and girls who started out with film. Like, wow.
Oh, jeez.
35 frames, like, make them work.
A buck a frame.
Yeah. Like, those people are a special breed, man. Like,
Do you have any interest in film photography? Is there something that pulls you towards it?
There's a little bit, I think. Like, I kind of want one of those, those Fuji films, those really popular ones TikTok made famous.
Like a Polaroid or something?
No, they're like they're replicating of a film camera, but it's digital and it's like the X100V or whatever.
Okay.
And but they have like the film settings on them, and like you can make changes to them apparently and stuff.
Okay.
I really would like to just take that as an everyday camera.
So,
but I mean, they're like $2,500 or something.
Yeah.
So like it's like
I just bought what's it called, a Dispo lens or whatever. Have you seen those?
No.
They're it's a disposable camera lens that.
Oh, I seen the ad for that. Yeah, on Facebook. It sucked you in. Is it like a 24 mil or something? It's like pinhole.
It's a pinhole. It's a pinhole, and it's got like a fixed aperture of
f11. Yeah.
And I think it'll be fun. Like it was like $90 or something. So it was.
Do you have it yet?
No. I wish. That'd be great.
Yeah, I would like to see it.
Yeah. Well, you can just choose whatever amount you want.
Okay.
Cool. But I'm excited about it because like it makes the mirrorless camera like for an everyday camera. Like my lenses are so heavy.
Oh yeah. This thing's probably like half a gram. Like.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's 3D printed or something.
Probably is, yeah, for sure. And they just like got all these Kodak film cameras and
just
knocked the lens out.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
That's pretty cool.
I did see that ad, and I was thinking about it, but I don't know. I do like having the versatility, Like, I do really enjoy that. But yeah, I get the heavy lenses and stuff.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
Really heavy lenses.
Yeah,
big glass.
It's a good thing that I spent a lot of my years growing up hauling moose out of the woods, so I could carry it on my back, Like,
a little more high tech.
Yeah, right.
What is your post production process look like? How much work do you do on your photos afterwards?
It ranges. I try now to get everything as much, or at least as much as I can, right in camera in the field. So I try to spend more time taking the photos rather than editing the photos. I don't like being behind the computer because, like, with my job, I'm behind the computer all day.
Sure.
Right, and then I don't enjoy that part. But you do have to spend the time with it. Ideally, if I can spend like 10 minutes on a photo, that would be like the greatest. But sometimes I do spend, like, I've spent like 45 minutes on a photo, or even come back the next day.
Sure.
Right, and that's like a lot of the famous people and the people that are doing it full time. They're like, do it, come back to it, let it go. Come back to it, take a look at it the next day. Because I have posted photos. I'm like, idiot, why did I do that? Like, I clearly made a big mistake. Yeah. What the hell am I doing? But those are the mistakes that you got to learn, right?
Yeah.
And it's a game. Like, photography is a game that you play every day and you're learning every day. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I like about the nature photography and the wildlife photography is that, like, I don't just show up in a studio and put a light up and manipulate it the way I want. I have to do what I have to work with what I have or what's there. And I think learning photography, doing that as right off the hop, is what made me into what I am today. And that's how I learned, and I appreciate that I learned that way rather than in a classroom.
You're self-taught pretty much.
But also not self-taught. I do have a mentor, Monica.
That's right.
Deviette. So
that's what I want to talk about next.
Yeah. So she's great, like, super amazing, award-winning photographer. She has this beautiful.
But you were self-taught up until then. You never went to
school
for photography.
No.
Yeah.
One day I would like to maybe do a fine art, bachelor degree in fine arts or something. That would be cool. But so she's been a godsend to me. I did take I took 2 of her workshops, but I did take one. It was called like Abraham's Bubbles or Bubbles Abraham. I can't remember the title.
Was that Frozen Lake?
Yeah, and what a wicked time! And she's taught me so much, and throughout that, like, we stayed in contact and chatted, and then I ended up taken another workshop from her, and she partnered up with Joe Desjardins, who does wildlife photography, and they did a workshop in Waterton, and I love Waterton National Park. Like it is like one of my favorite places in Alberta, and it's like the gem that like not too many people know about, I guess, right? And so I did another workshop with her and Joe there, and it's just so fun. She's taught me so much, and through that through her I met a lot of other people as well, and anytime I have questions, like I had those people to ask, and it's like Monica has always answered my questions, but yeah. So anyway, this mentorship, she called me up, and like we're big fans of like Letterkenny and Shoresy, right?
Sure.
So she's calling me up to pull a prank on me or something with Shoresy or Letterkenny, and and then out of it, like, or maybe it was a question. Sorry, it was a question. I had a question for her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you can call me or whatever." And this was like January, and she called me. She's like, "So," kind of like pushed my question aside, and she's like, "Yeah, do you want to be my mentee?" Like I actually chose like you as one of my mentees. I was like, "What? Well, no, like you're lying." Like I thought she was pulling a joke on me. No, she's like, seriously, like your application was one of the ones that I picked. She chose 2, right?
Oh, that's sick.
And it still seems surreal, but yeah. So she picked that up, and you know we had these meetings online and stuff, and Light Chasers. She's really busy. She's part of that as well. Like she does what's the title that the overlord or something of the field sessions. She's awesome. She's like a rock heavy metal person.
And does she do like nature photography?
Yeah, nighttime is like one of the things that she's really known for. Yeah. Northern Lights, landscape, wildlife. I mean, she does it all too. She has a studio too, like a I don't know the name of it, but a studio, and like she does photography work for that as well.
Gotcha.
And stuff, and like people's wedding photos or engagement photos at like Louise and stuff. So like she does it all, and she's so knowledgeable about it, and she's really like kicked my butt in gear to have like
So what are your biggest learnings so far with the mentorship?
A lot of the business side of things, and like making sure I'm getting like my website up and how to promote myself, and then we're supposed to have an editing session this.
Have you had an editing session yet or not yet?
Not yet, no. But
that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. She's going to walk us through how she does it and stuff.
And do you work with the other mentee as well simultaneously?
Yeah, right. It was also awesome. Her name is Carmen, and she's at a Sylvan Lake, I believe, in Alberta.
Cool. And also landscape photography kind of thing?
Yeah, she does a lot of nature stuff, and she teaches workshops and stuff too.
Sweet.
Yeah, great people, and like we get on our Zoom calls, and we have sometimes they're like 2 hours, 2.5 hour long chats.
That's fun.
Yeah,
that's so fun.
It's nice to nerd out with them and shit,
totally,
and just learn and take in everything she has to offer, because she's so knowledgeable about it, and try to put those things, like take what she says and like put it in my perspective, and like do it for me and how I want to do it, or whatever. Not, I don't know if that sounds right, but like,
well, no, you're taking what you're learning, and then you're kind of adapting
my twist onto it,
into your style.
Exactly.
Into your style. Well, do you have a favorite photo you've ever taken, where you're like, that's my favorite, that's the best one I've done?
Man, that's a hard one.
Like, you don't have to think about it too hard. What picture jumps to mind?
I really like this one I took on the Keel River last year.
Tell me that story. Tell me the story about that picture.
So Blackfeather hired me to do photos for them. They did a cultural raft trip that was like 13 days. We got dropped off at Natla Keel. We had 3 rafts and some guides and people, and a couple local guides as well. And we rafted the Keel from the Natla confluence all the way to Toledo, and like in Toledo we had like a community feast and a drum dance and stuff, and it was great. And then I think it was like the 4th day, so we got to this one spot and we pulled off for a camp and that, and when a couple of boys from Toledo were looking for firewood, they found these caribou antlers, I guess, that because like Toledo, they harvest mountain caribou up there, so they go like in the fall and go boat up there and get a caribou for the community and stuff. So I guess they left behind the skull with the antlers, and
they knew about it.
Well, they just found it.
Okay.
I don't know if they knew or if they were maybe they were, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the boys always hunt there too, and And then so they brought it down to show everybody or whatever, and then people was like, "Oh, I want my picture with it." So I was like taking pictures of people holding up the caribou antlers, and then that evening I put them on the rocks by the river, and I took a couple pictures, and anyway we ended up going to bed and woke up the next morning, and we're having breakfast, and like there was forest fires on the go too, but it was like a really foggy morning.
Nice depth.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And we're just eating breakfast, and then like the fog is starting to lift a little bit, and like the mountain peak is there, and it's just like sun's beaming up. I was like, my camera, like losing my mind. And like so I went and got my camera, set it all up, and then the fog came back and covered in the cloud, and I was like, crap. So I set up my camera, my filters, I had everything all ready to go, and then started eating my breakfast again. And then once it lifted, then I was there, and I was just like taking as many photos, changing settings to get what I want. Excuse me. And one of my favorite photos came out of that one. I call it the keel, and it's a beautiful photo with the caribou antlers there on the rock, or two rocks, and behind it is the Keel River, and with ND filters you can smooth it out with your long exposure, so like the river is nice and calm. Yes. And then you got the big mountain in the backdrop, big jagged mountain. And
could I use the photo for this?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
okay,
I'll
cool.
I'll send you
throw it up there.
Yeah.
Well, how long was the exposure for?
Oh my God.
It'll probably tell you in Lightroom.
Yeah. Metadata. Yeah. Mind your own business. No, I don't recall, but enough to smooth out the river.
Yeah.
Probably 13, 14 seconds.
Yeah.
And
that's what you need the NDs for, eh? To stop it way down so that you can
keep that shutter speed open and catch the motion and stuff. So anyway, that's a favorite. A lot of people love that photo. Anytime I go out anywhere and in a market, and
it's printed.
Where was that? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's sick.
And another one now is where me and Bailey got engaged, was at Carcajou Falls, and it's one of my favorite places. Sometimes we're lucky enough to stop and have lunch there. So I took a photo of the falls. There used to be a big rock that used to be there, but that summer it fell down.
Yeah. Did you get engaged while it was still there?
No, I wish. No, it was like a month and a half after it fell down. Yeah, I know. I know.
So close.
I know. It's such an iconic
That's
rock.
like basically on geologic time. You missed it by a hair.
Yeah, right? Like seconds.
Yeah.
But I took a photo there, and it sat on my hard drive for 2 years. All my engagement photos sat there for 2 years.
Oh yeah, you never got around to it.
I never ever got around to it. I forgot about them, and then one day I was fooling around with it, and I looked. I was like, "Oh shit! Like, there's a bunch of photos here. I should edit them." Then I actually edited them, and then I printed this Carcajou Falls one, and I'm like, I think I got a thing for waterfalls now. Like, I just really enjoy it.
That's really cool. They're really sweet.
Oh yeah, like, and I just really like the capturing emotion. I mean, some people don't like it, but like, art's subjective.
Oh no,
yeah,
it's
right?
They're wrong.
Yeah, no, they can be right in their own way or whatever. But I really appreciate waterfalls a lot, and I'm enjoying that part. I want to get out.
And do you, like, when you shoot a waterfall, do you primarily do like longer exposures? Than 1/5000th of a second.
Yeah.
To capture the motion, or do you also like to do those like quick things like?
Question. I mean, I'm going for that aesthetic where you can see the motion. And a lot of motion. Like I really enjoy that beautiful, like, cloudy look when you see all that white water.
Yeah. It's cool.
It just flows or whatever.
Especially if it's not a windy day, then the trees are still.
That's the challenge, right? So you want to get enough shutter speed to have the motion, but you also don't want your bushes and trees like all over the map.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're in that battle all the time. Sometimes if you can't make it work, well, you can't make it work. Elements are the elements, so you gotta maybe bump up that shutter speed more than you want to.
Yeah.
But it's a game of, it's like cat and mouse, I guess. You're back and forth. You're trying to make your adjustments as for your environment, and that's the thing I guess I like about nature photography, because I'm always trying to solve that puzzle.
Yeah.
Like, find that happy medium, making things work.
Do you like, because I know some people like get really technical about their long exposures, and like do like they have like math and how much you're stopping down versus how much to get the perfect thing.
Guy.
So you just kind of like you show up and you'll do a few shots and see if it's overexposed, underexposed, or whatnot.
Well, with the mirrorless game, I know, right? I can kind of see on the background, so I'll make some settings like based off of my own experience.
My assumption is you shoot on manual exclusively.
Yeah, I don't ever shoot on auto. I don't even shoot on aperture priority or anything like that.
Yeah.
Once I went manual, Yeah. I can see where I should like
shoot on aperture priority.
Like or like shutter speed priority.
But I feel like you can do all that in manual anyways. It's just you might fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can definitely do it for sure, 100%. But it's not like, and I don't shoot on auto ISO either. Some people do in manual, and they just use auto ISO because like now the cameras are just so good and the dynamic range is so good, like that you can get away with it. Like you can get away with like a 6,000 ISO, 8,000 ISO
especially
photo.
with the AI tools now.
Oh man, like that Topaz denoise and the denoise and Lightroom. I just used that Lightroom one.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can get away with it now, like you said. But I don't know. I
also like to shoot with a regular. Like I like to control it.
Yeah, and I'm making the decisions, not the camera.
Yeah.
But it burns me sometimes.
Oh yeah,
right?
Of course. But that's the game.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, you appreciate it more when you know that you had not full control, but like
you were fully.
You made the right choices to get that photo.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Makes it more challenging. I love challenges, so yeah, I enjoy that part of it.
It's cool. Well, I feel like nature photography frustrates me so much. Well, wildlife because I don't have the big zoom lens.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the animal's so small on the frame. Like you really need to. Well, you need the big zoom, but then you also got to get relatively close too to.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a safe distance too, and like there's cool tools. Like I shoot with the Canon R5, and it has a crop mode feature, so I can go in and I can do it at like what we call like a 1.6 crop.
Does that change your quality?
Yes.
Like it. Yeah, for sure. But
my...
like, I'm just saying, if you shot at a full frame and then cropped in post, would it be the same?
Essentially, yeah. But I think it's more or less for me.
Well, for composition in the moment.
Yeah.
Like you're saying you don't like to do as much work in post as you can avoid it.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, I love it. But
well, no, but there is a mastery to getting in camera what you want,
Yeah, and a lot of the people that have done it for a long time or have given me advice is get as much as you can get done in camera. Mm-hmm. Like, and all these people, you can Photoshop that. Well,
you can.
That's the worst friggin' thing you could say to somebody. Like, who's a photographer, like, I might be able to, but I'm not spending like 10 hours getting this photo perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend my time in the field. If it takes me an extra 5-10 minutes, it's going to save me an extra 20-30 minutes in Lightroom or in Photoshop.
Have you played with any like composite images like photo stacking or panoramas and stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I have a panorama Pato Lake.
Sorry, focus stacking.
I've done photo like that's how I learned photo stacking, was actually through Monica. She taught me how to do it.
Cool.
It's an art too, like
it's
you got to know what you're doing.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Well, I find I've only done it like a couple times, but I think you have to close your aperture down, because if you shoot with a really wide aperture, obviously you need to take more photos to get more things in focus.
Yeah.
But then you end up with problems like I had
focus breathing and stuff too.
Yeah, or no, not focus, because I was doing manual shots. So
okay.
So like you take a photo with a really close area of focus, and then you move it, take a picture, move it, take a picture, and then you stack those all in Photoshop, so you have focus throughout the whole image. Mm-hmm. But I think my aperture was too wide.
What were you shooting at?
Oh, fuck, probably like 4 or something.
Yeah. And I 8 would be my minimum. That I personally would do it. But I guess
with focus stack. No. Well, my issue was that I'll show you the picture, but I'll put it up too on this. But there was like a dock in the front with some cleats.
Yeah.
That were that would have had bokeh around them when it was focused really close, but then would have been completely blown out when it was far away. So everything was in focus except for the edge.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever was in focus around the edge of that, so it required some Photoshop work.
Then you'd have to crop in or whatever.
Or not even, I had to clone stamp.
Oh, yeah.
Trees around it.
Yeah.
The image came up pretty cool and whatnot. And my journey was learning Photoshop first before I started playing with cameras. And I didn't even take pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like manipulating images and doing posters and stuff like that.
Cool.
And then I picked up a camera probably in university. I got my first camera, and I was like, oh, that would be fun. And I took some pictures. My parents were like, oh, we'll buy you a camera for your birthday, but you have to take like, my parents are both artists, so you have to take pictures on your phone that are like artistic and show us that you're going to actually do it before we buy you a camera. It's like, okay.
You burned us too many times, Joshua. You said you were going to do this.
Well, I feel like I took better pictures on my phone than I did with that camera ever. And then got the camera, and it was just like I didn't have lens options or whatever. It was a Nikon, like a entry-level Nikon, and I had it. I still have it, but I had it for a long time, and I took a bunch of photos, and I was traveling in Asia, and I did some I just never understood the fundamentals, so I couldn't really get anywhere with it until probably like 2020, when I really started being like, oh, this is cool. Like, I really enjoy it. I'm understanding what these settings do and all that kind of stuff. But so I kind of have the flip side. I really enjoy the photo manipulation after the fact, the editing and whatnot. And I like doing a blend of like Photoshop and Lightroom. I try you don't want to change images too much.
Yeah. Well, but, I mean, it's your art though. Like.
Well, yeah, but it's really hard.
It is. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't like take out my skies and put random skies in and stuff like that, because like I'm not that good in Photoshop. But if you want to do that, you do that.
No.
Just be honest. Yeah, just be honest about it.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's more like it's difficult to do all that and make it look really good simultaneously.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can do a sky replacement and it can just be janky and like whatever, you've replaced the sky, but it doesn't come out in the right way. I've only done a few sky replacements that I was happy with, which I can show you as well. But yeah, it's fun. But I don't want to deceive too much. You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
I like to represent like what, I've done stuff like I with some of my aviation photography. You only have like a few seconds to capture the plane as it's going by, and the framing's wrong. I'm like, crap, so I'll cut out the plane and move it over and then fill in the trees and stuff like that. Doesn't change the meaning of the image at all. It just kind of looks better.
It's for promotion.
Totally.
Like, it's not, you're not printing it or anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get that. For me, like, I'm definitely not a naturalist, because I do use Photoshop, and I do, take blemishes out and stuff. But something, I'll quote Shane, actually, Shane Turgeon, the guy that does that conference. He said, I was joking around, tormenting him, but he is right. Like, the crop tool is like one of your most important tools in Lightroom or Photoshop.
Getting rid of the ketchup package in the corner or whatever.
Yeah, and like, there's another thing I heard from, I don't remember the name of the person, but it's one of those YouTube videos. Edge Patrol, he called it. So he's looking around the edge of his frame and his camera to see what was distracting. So those are the types of things that I'm doing now. Yeah. And like, Joe and Monica told me too before, like, turn the picture upside down, like, once you're done, and then look at it and see where it's drawing your eye.
Oh, interesting.
Where those distractions are. So I've been doing that shit now, and like, it's making a big difference. And I'm learning now, like, simpler to better.
You're rotating, You're not just picking up your laptop upside down.
No, I'm actually like, I get Bailey to hold my feet, and I lie down on the bed and I put my laptop. No, but so I'm using those techniques that these are experts, these people, right?
Yeah.
And I'm using those techniques to see where I'm falling short and what I need to do. And like, a lot of times too, like, this is why I don't really like photo competitions. I have participated in a couple, but I don't like.
I agree. It's frustrating.
It is frustrating, but they're not wrong. But like, sometimes, like, not necessarily in my experience, but I've heard others say that, oh, well, this would have been a better photo if you moved 2 feet to the right, because then you wouldn't have the stick in the back.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, yeah, that's all fine and dandy to say now, but in the conditions I couldn't do that.
Yeah, for
right?
Sure.
And that's what ticks me off about it, I guess. But like, they're not wrong. Like, the people who are judging these are like people that know what they're doing and talking about. But that's the thing about wildlife photography, is that you don't always have the luxury of just moving 2 feet to the side. because maybe you're in an area where you can't do that because it's a cliff, or you know
Sure.
what I mean, like.
Yeah, or if you move, you'll spook the animal or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's all about respect for the animal. When the animal's changing its behavior because you're there, you're too close. Or you're in its space. So you shouldn't, back off, right?
How do you feel about those like camera gun mounts? You know what I mean? Like people will like. Have you ever seen those?
No, I don't.
It's like a stock.
No, not that. I thought you were talking about the chest mount from the cotton carrier or whatever, where you're like.
No.
I got one of those.
No, but it's like, well, I think people use it for birding, actually. So then they
must be more steady, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's just like an easier way to hold your. But it's funny because you're like shooting.
Yeah.
Pictures.
Yeah. Jesus. No, I don't. I've never seen one of those. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm making this up.
Yeah. I'm like trying to search it up. Guns, but actually camera.
Camera gun holder.
Yeah. I like the gimbals though. But like. Also,
yeah, but not motorized gimbals. You're talking about those like
the,
gravity.
Yeah, exactly. The gimbal heads that you would get for a tripod. I have like a Benro one or whatever, like GH-2 or whatever it's called. Anyway, but they're nice because like you can pan and you can set it up, but then you have to set up your tripod and you have to get it level.
Well, yeah, but all that's part of the ritual of getting the good picture. For sure.
And those things, it makes life easier.
Once you do it.
Yeah, but most of the time, you don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
So a lot of my shots are handheld.
Mm-hmm.
But, I get it. Like, if I could, like, have the tripod set up with the gimbal head, I'm doing it. But sometimes you just don't have that luxury.
No, of course. Well, and sometimes you're like, well, it's a picture, and I can just turn up the shutter speed, and it looks like it's on a tripod. You know what I mean? Like,
well, exactly. And, like, I'm a person that goes for the shutter speed. I want the shutter speed because I don't want a blurry photo. I don't want to miss. I want it to be all in focus, or not all in focus, but I want my subject to be in focus. So I'm always worried about my shutter speed being enough. Like for me personally, I can't remember the name of the rule, but whatever it is, usually if your shutter speed is double what your focal length is, you won't get your handshakes and stuff in it.
Okay.
So like if I'm shooting at if I'm shooting 500 millimeter. Even if the animal's not moving, I want my shutter speed to be close to 1/1000 personally to get my handshakes out.
Yeah.
So then sometimes, what's your give, right? Because like I have that 1:500 from Canon, so like at 500 it's like f7.1, so I'm already losing a lot of light there. Now I got my shutter speed up, so like now I'm suffering with ISO. But
no
now
kidding.
These denoise tools are making a big difference in that, right? And hopefully the R5 Mark II is going to be a stack
new
sensor.
body?
I'm going to get it. I don't know if it's going to be right away, but like it's on the list, so we'll see. But
what would be your most underrated piece of kit that I think that you feel like people miss? Do you have like some kind of zip tie, whatever, that I don't know, something like unique like that?
That's a great question, Josh. I don't think I got a good answer for that, I'll be honest. One of the coolest little pieces of gear I got is this like blower. It's electronic blower, not one of those little. It's like it actually, you turn it on and you can blow all the stiff stuff out, and you can put like there's a little button and you get a little brush on it and you can actually brush the sand off.
Of your sensor and stuff like that, or
no,
of
I
your
wouldn't
lenses?
use. Don't use it on your sensor.
Sorry, I just meant like cleaning your camera.
Yeah.
That's good.
And well, even on your camera lenses, like you can blow the dirt, sand and shit off.
It's electronic. You have to charge it,
and you charge it USB-C, and it's great.
Oh, that's good.
It's like $120 or something.
For me, I would say I have I have a camera cage. Do you have a cage on your camera?
Not a cage. I have an L bracket.
Oh yeah,
which I that's a great. Actually, that is another
underrated. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah,
I love them. I have a full cage, and depending on. Because some of my lenses, I have the like collar on them for the mount, so it doesn't work with that. But if the tripod clip is on the cage, and then you can put the top handle on that, you can just pick your camera up by the handle, and none of the stresses are on the tripod, and the camera is completely insulated from it. I really like that.
And just if you drop it too, like you got some more protection.
Totally.
For sure. Yeah. No. a good buddy of mine, Chris Gibbs, he's like big into the video stuff as well, and he's in Calgary, and he shoots Canon, and he has cages on his camera from like Small Rig or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to get a little bit into the video game too, maybe.
Oh yeah.
With the wildlife stuff, and try to get some stock footage, and chatting with him and stuff.
Oh, I think that's absolutely what you should do. Why not?
Oh yeah, I mean,
because you could also. Well,
I could sell it to you. You know?
If you have two bodies,
well, yeah,
you can set up your tripod.
One for video.
Yeah, just hit record, shoot wide, crop in, whatever,
yeah, exactly.
and then shoot with your other. Shoot stills with the other one. Although that's a lot to focus on. But
it's also another racket. Like the video racket is just as expensive as the the photography racket,
sure.
right? So yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna try to get into a little bit more video. I don't know. I'm not very good at editing video, but
you can get better. It's just a matter of doing it more.
Well, I got people like you and Chris to rely on.
Yeah, exactly.
Ask questions at like 2:00 in the morning, and like 6:00 you'll text me back and like, "What are you doing?" Like, leave me alone.
I get video can be so frustrating, but at the same time, like it's so fun because you get to add like music and like narrative and like so much to the whole thing, which I find really inspiring. And photos, because I do video more, photos are just kind of like a byproduct sometimes in my work, but I really like taking pictures too. Like they're both so fun.
So, what do you find better for storytelling? Do you find your pictures or your video?
No, I find my video better for storytelling. I feel like
it's easier to tell a story.
Well, you have like kind of like in some ways, like it's harder to tell a full story with one image. Photography seems easier, but mostly because it's just less complex. You know, like as soon as you hit record and then you like scratch your nose, you've like screwed your whole shot. Like
it's that keeping her steady. For some reason, like stock agencies don't like wobbly video.
Yeah, what the hell?
Weird. You can't fix that in post?
No, but you can. But then it like if it's too wobbly, it starts to get like really, really crazy.
Yeah.
But man, what was your question? You were saying
easier storytelling. Yeah.
I feel like if you successfully tell a story with one image, those pictures are very, very good. Very, very, very good. But that is like requires more work.
I feel like that's more journalism people.
Yeah. And then, it was weird. During the fires, I was selling images and video, like stock video to news agencies.
Nice.
But it was so weird because it was like, oh, we need that stuff like now of what's happening right now. So it was like kind of stressful to be like, especially because there was like the evacuation and there was the fire here. So it felt like there was 3 days of just like go.
Like around town footage?
Yeah. People were, we just need footage of the clouds above Norman Wells because it's raining there right now. And that's part of the story. But it was just like this super weird thing.
I hope it pays good.
I don't know. It's fine.
It's
like
easy, I guess, but like.
Well, yeah, but it's not like you could rely on it because it's not like Norman Wells is headline news all the time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? And like, I think they would pay more for something for like this kind of stuff because it's way more rare. If you're in the city or whatnot and you're trying to rely on this, it's like I think it's like cutthroat. Like there's tons of people doing it. It's like it's insane.
You're a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, exactly. But. Yeah, the hardest video that I find the hardest for multiple reasons it's this short form stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To tell a good story in like 30 seconds or
like
less.
A reel or whatever.
Yeah, or something. But like at the rate that they're consumed, they're so difficult to keep up with. Terms, it's like impossible. Feels impossible.
I hate creating content too. I hate it. Like I just want to go out there. Like
take some pictures.
Yeah, I just want to go out and enjoy nature. Sometimes, don't tell anybody this, but sometimes I leave my camera at home. You know.
Yeah, exactly. How dare you?
Then I regret it. That's when I see most of the animals actually.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
It's almost like they know.
Yeah, they know. Yeah. So do you like? Are you trying to be more rigorous about just like always bringing your camera, or do you find it's a distraction?
No, I'm trying to bring it all the time for
Yeah.
sure, especially like if I'm going outside of town. Not if I'm just going to the grocery store or anything.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing, I'm like sick of foxes. Like I'm like there's foxes everywhere in Yellowknife, and like I'm just sick of taking pictures of foxes, because like there's only so many fox pictures you can have, but it's just so easy,
Yeah.
right? And like great to learn on.
Yeah.
So
for
great
sure.
to learn on. Like
it doesn't mean that there's not a better picture of a fox that you could get.
Oh, 100%. 100% I could. I'm just like so fed up with it. Like, let me see something cool like a lynx or a wolverine or even a moose. Throw me a caribou or maybe even a bison. I don't know. Like, or
So you're gonna go on any like wildlife photography trips in the future? You have any plans for that?
I got a lot of ones I'd like to do. Unfortunately, it costs a lot of money to do the stuff I want to do. But I would like to be given those types of workshops and running those types of workshops. It'd be really cool to like team up with a lodge and offer my services either to them as like I'm the contractor they hire to take people out to do photos.
You should reach out to Blackjack Fishing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if fishing pictures have people in them and whatnot. It's hard to get like really cool photos of like pike.
Yeah.
But
get an underwater housing or some shit.
Yeah. He might be someone that you guys would have could have a good thing going.
Yeah.
Like a client for you.
Yeah. I listened to his podcast that you guys did, and it was really, really interesting and really cool. Like a veteran that's trying to give back.
Yeah. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
We were planning on working together, but it just didn't work out.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, that's okay. I'm all the way over here too. Like you're in Yellowknife, right?
It's expensive, man. Like it's so expensive.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But it might be a cool way to get out. Go see Great Slave and.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas. I've been throwing a few around with a few people and stuff, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, well, we tried, right?
Yeah.
It's also hard because I have a full-time job, so I can't just up and go.
Yeah.
I gotta apply for my time off and take my time off and
absolutely
make sure that there's other priorities for my full-time career that it's not messing up.
Yeah, you can't just ignore it entirely.
Yeah, no, I do important work, so I need to ensure that I'm always keeping that up.
So where can people find you? If they want to follow your work and check it out, where should they go?
Facebook, Instagram under Jonathan Gillingham Photography. My website, I got someone contracted. It's going to be up soon. You can still get to my I call it like the JGP print shop or whatever, and that's where you can actually sign up right now for my my workshop that I'm throwing off. So I might do a little shameless plug here.
Yeah, plug away, man. Of course.
So it's I call it the fundamentals of nature photography, and it's going to be like an hour and a half in a classroom where I give a presentation. We'll go over like settings and the reason why, and even some scenarios in the classroom, and then we'll go outside to a location and capture the sunset, and we'll take everything that we learned inside and then take it and put it to work for either hour and a half or 2 hours, however it works. It's all going to be based off the class and how.
Would it all be one day kind of thing?
Yeah, that'll be 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And right now I have early bird pricing on for $150 per person.
Sick.
I'm only taking 5. I have 1 signed up so far. Well, it could be more. I haven't checked yet today, but hopefully it's more. And then a minimum of 3 to run the class. And then it'll be September 7th, I believe, from like 6:30 or 6 till 9 or 9:30 or whatever.
Awesome.
I don't know. It's online. But sign up for that August 1st. Early bird pricing, and then if not, it's $250 per person.
Sweet.
But you'll get a lot out of it, and I'll be there, and we're gonna do it in the field because for me personally, like in the field is the best.
Oh, you got to do it in the field.
You're gonna see the settings right then and there. And another cool thing with Case Filters being a pro partner, anyone who attends my workshops or talks and stuff, I can give them a 10% discount on Case Filters for themselves. So they'll really see the filters at work. I might, if I start doing all these workshops really regularly, I might purchase some demo packs so people can actually try them
on their cameras.
Yeah, on their cameras. So
nice. Do you need to have a camera to participate?
Yes, or like a phone. I mean, you can still do it with phones because now phones, like, you can either get.
No, I just wondered if you had,
Yeah.
rental units or whatnot.
Yeah.
I think you might be able to rent cameras in Yellowknife.
There is a place that you can. That reminds me. I think it's. I can't remember the name of it right now, but they do rent camera and video equipment. It's Northern something production.
Something, yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
Well, if you're interested in a Wicked Photo workshop, yeah, check out Jonathan's if you're in Yellowknife, and you can take it from me. He's fantastic at what he does.
Thanks, buddy.
Wonderful to spend time with. And
I'm already married, so you don't have to flirt with me.
And well, I appreciate you coming on today. It's been great, and if you're back in town and want to talk about something else, a certain project you're on or whatnot, and keep recommending people to me. That Norman was. He was great. He was great to talk to.
I love connecting good people that I know that are going to work together well and do a good job. And like, we've known each other now for quite some time. And if I didn't have faith in you, I wouldn't recommend you.
Well, I look forward to seeing some more of your work, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, take care.
Thanks, buddy.